Good day, good morning. We come to you again with a beacon of hope, a devotional for today. We continue in our series, The Fruit of the Spirit. And the title of this beacon of hope is, The Fruit of the Spirit is Kindness. Long ago and far away, a little boy demonstrated in a wonderful way the fifth fruit of the Spirit, kindness. This happened over in South Korea. 5-year-old Bobby needed his tonsils out, and tonsils can be a real pain. They were red and they were swollen, these tonsils, and causing him no end of grief. The thought of some stranger reaching down into his little throat and cutting away his flesh didn't exactly endear the procedure to his horrified mind. And he thought in his mind, he magnified it, he thought he'd die, and it wasn't going to be good. He was scared. He was fearful. Well, that's when older brother Billy stepped in. Now, Billy had lived 2 whole years longer than his sibling, so that would make him 7, I think. And Billy felt he owed the younger boy the benefit of his advanced age. And so with lifted chin and clenched fists, Big Brother Billy announced that everything would be just fine. And to demonstrate his confidence in that declaration, he himself would allow the doctor to take his tonsils out at the same time, thus giving encouragement that Bobby needed. Well, hey, if Billy said it was okay, then it must be okay. It's cool, man. So Bobby agreed that as long as his brother was by his side, he'd go along with the whole idea. It made it more palatable. And so, the day came when Dr. Pearson carried Billy from the operating room in his arms. There was a big tear coursing down the boy's white cheek. That was hard on Daddy, too, who had given permission for his operation when he didn't really need it. Well, you know what? It had all been an act. See, because the older child didn't need the operation. But the older child displayed his bravado, his courage to bolster the faith and the confidence of his younger brother Bobby. While in reality, unspoken fears had gripped Billy's heart through it all. He wasn't as brave as he presented himself to be. Deep inside, he was fearful too. Well, you know, that's what kindness does. What does kindness do? It overcomes our personal reservations, our hidden uncertainties, our unspoken fears, and motivates us to put the happiness and well-being of others first. If there was one character trait that my mother exhibited more than anything else, that was kindness. She was always doing kind acts and deeds. I remember that fondly. She was always going the extra mile to make sure we were comfortable and happy when we would visit her. Her acts of kindness went a long ways, and even when we were away from her many miles, she would send us letters and birthday cards, and these acts of kindness went a long way in making a difference in our lives and the lives of others. Came across a story that it applies here. A story told about the surrender of the Confederacy of the Appomattox courthouse as the Civil War concluded. General Grant, who was the general for the northern, I believe it was the northern forces during the Civil War, he was an unusual man. Knowing the war was over and the victory was his, he showed great and unusual kindness and respect toward the chief general of the Confederates, the other side, I think of the south side. He allowed General Robert E. Lee to ride freely in and out of the area. He also allowed the Confederate men to keep their possessions and horses. Grant even went as far to give them food because they were hungry and let them all go home undisturbed. They had a free path. You know, Lee was permanently touched by Grant's kindness. After the war, Lee became the president of Washington College in Virginia. And on one occasion, one of his fellow instructors, also a Southerner, began to speak poorly of Grant to Lee, assuming he'd receive a sympathetic audience since they were enemies during the war, or were pitted, they were against each other on opposite sides. And so Lee turned to that man and looked the man straight in the eye and said, "Sir, if you ever again presume to speak disrespectfully of General Grant in my presence, either you or I will sever his connection with this university." Because General Lee had received such kindness from Grant, he treasured and protected the good name of the one who had showed him kindness. So should we. I encourage you to show kindness to your family, to your relatives, to your friends, even to your enemies. There's nothing more refreshing than a cup of kindness. And here's the promise for today, Luke 6:35. Love your enemies, do good and lend, hoping for nothing again, and your reward shall be great. And you shall be the children of the highest, for he is kind unto the unthankful and to the evil. May God bless you today as you live and you endeavor to be kind to someone today. Amen.